Okay, so, man, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I honestly don't know how else to start because, yeah, how's everyone doing today, guys? My name's Tcodes, and yeah, I literally just got back from seeing the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie. Yeah, I mean, honestly, this, I think the best place to start is I probably wasn't really gonna talk much about this movie after I saw it. Not that I'm saying like you shouldn't or like it's just I went to the theater. I got my ticket. I went to the theater. I got my ticket, and they gave me. It was because I mean it's opening day for Sonic, even though it came. I guess you could technically have seen it a few days ago. I don't know, but I got the poster. Like they gave me the poster because I came and saw it today, and just me being like an art kind of like just I love the illustrations. I love just art. I love animation. I really have gotten into it in the last few years. So this poster, I mean, it feels very simplistic, but I just love the illustration of this, and I just felt like is the lighting good? Yeah, lighting's good. Okay, yeah. Sorry, just wanted to double check the lighting, but yeah, just after I got this poster, I'm like, you know what? You know what? After I get back, I'm gonna talk about because I feel like I got this poster and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should try and talk about this movie just to give my thoughts on it because in terms of like Sonic lore and stuff, I don't know very much of like the Sonic games. I never played any of the Sonic games. Probably the closest I've been to playing anything related to Sonic is freaking Super Smash Brothers Ultimate because that has Sonic in it. So it's like I have seen a bit about Sonic. I definitely have learned stuff about Sonic. I know Sonic, I know Tails, Knuckles, Dr. Robotnik. I know all those characters, so I knew just what I was going to get myself into for this movie because I guess before I talk about the second movie, I want to just give my thoughts about the first movie. I thought the first movie was a nice, fun little adventure that, from what I've heard, because I mean, I didn't grow up in the 90s. I grew up in the 2000s. So just here, anytime someone talks about like the 90s tropes of movies, I don't get bothered too much of like people who probably grew up in the 90s and saw all these cliches and tropes. So like the first movie when I saw it, I was like, yeah, nice, fun little, road trip. Yeah, there's definitely some questions about like plot holes and stuff. But when it was doing like its thing with Sonic, like when Sonic actually did go fast, when Dr. Robotnik, Jim Carrey was trying to attack him, like those were my favorite parts of the first movie, but the other stuff was fine. I mean, I thought James Marsden was alright as like the mentor. I mean, he already had experience talking to things that weren't there, that were like freaking hop. So I felt like, it's nice, it's fun. The writing in the first one was also like it had its hit and miss lines in the first one. So but when I saw the trailer for the second movie that came out, which of course showed a lot. I mean, it had Tails, it had Knuckles, it had the Master Emerald, it had Jim Carrey's Robotnik coming back, it had all of this insane chaotic stuff. So I was intrigued to see how they were going to pull all this off in the second movie. And I guess the best way to really sum up this second movie is it is pure chaos. That is probably the best way to sum up this film because it literally nearly every scene that is in this film just feels like they were there and they're like, how do we make this feel like the most chaotic thing we could possibly do? Now, I'm not gonna. Okay, well, not every scene is like that. There's definitely a few scenes that are supposed to be, they're supposed to be dramatic. They're supposed to be sentimental. You're supposed to feel like nice, and you're supposed to try and feel like, aw. It's like stuff like that. But then there's other scenes where they just go all out, and it's just like it is the most ridiculous things I have ever seen in a freaking movie, and I loved it. It was. I mean, in terms of like a perfect video game adaptation, it is it is a great video game adaptation. I wouldn't say it's perfect. It is definitely very, very, very insane with what it does. But you know what? That's fine because I kind of expected that with this movie. I feel like with what they did in the first movie, it's like, yeah, there were definitely things that shouldn't have been in a video game adaptation of Sonic, or video game adaptation, film adaptation of the Sonic games. So there definitely were things that was in that I was like, that shouldn't have been there. But I like how in this movie it doesn't fully 100% like take that away. And I know some people are like, no, they don't. They should take it away. I feel like the foundation that they set up in the first one at least carry it over a bit into the second one, and that's kind of what they did in this because the human character, like the human, like James Marsden, his wife, and then his wife's and his sister-in-law, like that stuff is still present in this movie, but it doesn't take up the majority of the film. The majority of the film is Sonic going up against Dr. Robotnik, who has picked up a new friend, Knuckles, voiced by Idris Elba, who is he is the funniest. He is literally the funniest character in this movie because of how he is stone-faced. He's like Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy, but he's just a tad more threatening because I mean, it's like if you gave Drax really the super speed along with this strength, that's pretty much what Idris Elba's Knuckles is in this because he's like Sonic's opposite, whereas Sonic is he's energetic, he is hopeful, he is super fast, and he cares about others, whereas Knuckles on the other hand, he is super brooding, he is he's hard-headed, he really just wants revenge for what happened to his tribe, all of that. And so then of course he has to team up with Jim Carrey's Robotnik because of course they both start off like, oh hey, we're both after Sonic, so let's team up. And that's, I mean, I feel like the best way to say if this movie's for you or not, if you watch the opening of this film, you sit through it and you just take it for what it is, because for the opening it is both very weird and very just hilarious because it's just so weird. Like I was sitting in the theater. There were other college kids like me, but there were also kids with their parents, and we were all just sitting there watching this opening, and we pretty much just had that look of confusion, yet just very intrigued as to where it was gonna go. And once it got there, it was like, oh, okay. I mean, you probably pick up what it is as the scene is going on, but just if you sit through that and you're just like, what the heck was that? I don't know how the rest of the film is going to be for you. For me, I just saw that and I'm like, okay, I know exactly what they're going for here. And that's just being, I do like that. I like how this film really owns that fact as being like, we are just gonna be ridiculous, chaotic. If something doesn't make sense, that's just because that's what this film's supposed to be. Because there are definitely scenes in this film that make no sense when you actually stop and pick it apart. But that's the point. You're supposed to keep going from scene to scene. For the most part, because like I said, there are moments where they kind of slow things down for a few reasons or another. But yeah, no, I really had a blast with this film because it just like I said, it adds more from the video games, it builds more on the lore. Even if I remember correctly, like everything in terms of Longclaw the owl, like that apparently wasn't even in the game, so like they're just implementing that into this movie series now. And for what they did, I mean, it's actually not bad. I mean, I do like the idea that they have. I like the way that the temples are designed. There's 2 temples in this. The first one is pretty straightforward, but honestly at the same time I do question how the heck no one stumbled upon this temple. I mean, for where it is, okay, but I'm like, I feel like over the years, maybe someone because okay, the best way to sum it up, it's in a mountain in Siberia, so maybe that's just because it's in Siberia. I mean, I don't know. But I mean, the second temple, I'm definitely like, okay, that's definitely harder to find because where it is. But it's just, again, it's just nitpicks, because this movie is like, they don't care about the nitpicks, they don't care about the plot holes, they don't care about things that may not make sense, because the whole point of this movie is just giving you exactly what a Sonic game does, and that is Dr. Robotnik wanting to get revenge on Sonic while also taking over the world, Sonic having to stop him, he has to do some things that are really, really ridiculous. Some of the ridiculous things he does in this movie, I can definitely see in a video game. Like, I mean, when he's snowboarding down the mountainside, being attacked, literally being chased by hundreds of Robotnik's robots, while Knuckles is also chasing after him. Tails is, meanwhile, flying through the sky, trying to avoid getting shot down. It's like, that all is just something I would see in a video game. But then there's other moments where I'm like, what were they trying to do here? Because I think part of the reason why they tried to, some of the things that they do, again, it kind of goes back to the first one. Like, example, there's a scene, it's in the trailer where Sonic and Tails, they go into this, this tavern where and you got all these people there. It's like, some of them are very threatening. Like, there's a old lady here, and I really gotta give them credit for how they set up this joke, because it's like, you see all these threatening people, and it's like, and then you see the old lady, she's sitting by the fire, she's knitting, and it's like, oh, that's sweet, and then you see what she's knitting, and you're just like, nope. And then there's even another scene with there's like a fish, there's like it's just such it is a very bizarre moment that you probably wouldn't see in a Sonic game, but because you have the first movie to work off of, they do have moments that they do have a good spin to it, which I really I love. But then the whole thing with this tavern, it then leads to a dance battle, which is weird, which could work, but then it's the song choice is where I'm like, how old is this script? Because, I mean, I feel like in terms of the writing, like, there's definitely moments where there are a lot of good jokes, there's a lot of good moments, but, like, timing, the writing, it's really good, but then there's a few moments where you stop and question, why was that in it? Like, there's a line that there's a line that Robotnik says. He's like, he was like, you're as valuable to me as a backstage pass to Limp Bizkit. What? I mean, I know what Limp Bizkit is. I'm just like, why would they? What? Why would they put that in? And then, yeah, like I said, even the song choice for the dance battle, it's not like the most dated thing, but it's like, I feel like there'd be other, like, more modern songs now that could work better. I mean, I didn't fully hate the scene. It took a second for me to really, like, take it in and just be like, I'll bite. I'll see where they go with this. But it is a very, very ridiculous. There's definitely a few months. There's even a series of events that happened with the humans that, again, it's just like it's just putting them in this, like, okay, because, they're this is what they've been doing, this is how they're kind of away from the main plot with Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Robotnik. But then as it keeps going, it starts adding stuff to it, and it eventually. It's when the plot with Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, and Robotnik collide with the humans. That's pretty much when it goes insane. Like, there is a sequence where a few of the humans do some pretty messed up stuff that is ridiculous, over the top, but it is hilarious. Like, me and the audience that I was with, we just could not believe what we were seeing. It's just like, what is this film? But again, I feel like that's exactly what they were just doing. That's what they were just going for in this film. Just pure chaos, pure ridiculousness, but also giving those who who played the Sonic games, who know the Sonic franchise, the lore, they give them what they want. They give them new characters, they give them new ideas, they give them new things that are within the games that even if you haven't played the games, you kind of can pick up on in this film that really, really work. And even like there's a post-credit scene that teases the third one, and even then, like, for those who haven't played like the Sonic games, who don't know, it's still a pretty good setup for like a pop for the third one. For fans who have seen it, or for fans who know a few things about Sonic, or just like me who just like knows the lore a bit, it is exciting to see that mid-credit scene and be like, oh, we're going there. Oh gosh. I mean, because it makes sense for where they leave it off. I mean, because with Robotnik, because, I mean, I think we should take a moment and say, if this is Jim Carrey's last film that he will ever do, I definitely think this really sums up what Jim Carrey has been. He is just, in this film, he is very chaotic, but he's also very funny. He's very cartoonish with his facial expressions. He just has a lot of great scenes. The one problem I do have, and this, I don't know if this is just for them wanting to go on and just be ridiculous, is okay, so I guess I'll just go into spoilers for a second here, because, I mean, I guess if you've seen the trailers, you know exactly what happens. So, like, he gets the Master Emerald, and it fuses with it, so now all of a sudden he has all this great power, and it's like he can literally conjure anything with his mind, and it's like, so, but when he has that when he has the Master Emerald, and he's fused with he has like this auto-tune voice, which is so freaking weird. It's so weird. But again, I think that's just the point. They want you to feel so out of place with it. But, I mean, they don't hold on it for too long. Like, you definitely, I mean, every time he does talk, you kind of get used to it the more and more it goes on. And eventually, like, he does lose the Master Emerald, so that eventually he loses the auto-tune voice. But, yeah, no, this sequel is very insane, very hilarious. I really did like, I mean, Ben Schwartz, again, he does a really solid job as Sonic. I really do like him in this. I mean, I liked him in the first one. I felt like he had a pretty good voice for Sonic, and I feel like, and he does exactly what he needs to do in this. He is still, he's just being just a kid, right? I mean, acting like a kid who has these powers, that wants to do right for what happened in the past, and just trying to keep that upbeat attitude while also being energetic. And so that's exactly what he is. And Tails, if I am correct, they did actually bring the voice actress who voiced Tails in like the show, and like the original shows for Sonic. I might be wrong, I'm not entirely sure. Again, I literally just got back, so I didn't take a second to actually look this stuff. But I really like Tails in this. I mean, he didn't get too, like, he got a good amount of screen time in this film, but he didn't distract you from, like, the overall film. Like, he was there to be Sonic's pal, his friend, his teammate. You know, he's there to help him, he's there to work with him, and he does have his moments, like, because, you know, he's the brains of the group, he has the gadgets, and there's a lot of really cool gadgets in this. I really did like the things that Tails made. Of course, a part of me, because I love stories that do have, like, character backgrounds and, like, development, because again, even though I know a solid chunk of the characters, like, I don't know too much of their backstory, so I was very curious in terms of, like, Tails. I'm like, he said he was a weirdo because he had two tails, and I'm like, okay, so, but what's his people like? Like, how did he develop all this tech? I mean, he literally talked about how he was able to watch Sonic since the first movie, which is very intriguing. And then, but still, I mean, he's fun. Like I said, Idris Elba, in my opinion, he is just as funny as Jim Carrey. I think he's just a tad bit funnier because whereas Jim, because I think the reason for that is because I've seen a lot of Jim Carrey movies, so I know the kind of comedic talent he brings, like what he'll bring to the table. Whereas Idris Elba in this, he has lines in this that really just are so bizarre to hear come out of his Idris Elba's voice. It's really funny, and it's very simple too. Like, there are some very simple jokes in this that work because of how Idris Elba delivers them. It is just, it really cracked us up. Like, I mean, again, I wasn't the only college student in this. There was a few other college students in there with me, and we were just cracking up by some of the ways Idris Elba delivered these lines. It was so cool. Let's see what else. Oh man, I mean, yeah, there's just a lot of really crazy stuff. I guess in terms of like the moments where slows down a bit, it really is just more for the moments of like, okay, we gotta move the story, we gotta set things up for the story, you know, we gotta talk about like, oh, well, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? It's like, just simple stuff like that. But then also, there's also a few other moments where it's like, well, we gotta have the sentimental moment, we gotta have the touching moment, we gotta have those few moments just to slow it down, just to make it feel like a bit of an adventure with actual like characters and stuff, because that's the thing, you need characters, and these are very likable characters. And even even the stuff that happens with the humans, like, it's, you could sure, you can cut it out, but honestly, it's, for what it has, it's necessary. And even, again, there's like a fun little twist with the humans in this, and it's like, it comes out of nowhere, but at the same time, it does make sense for what happened in the first one. It's like, they don't fully go, they don't like go like off, like, just go, I guess the best way to say it is, they don't fully go unexplainable. They don't like go just, you know, we're just gonna do it, we don't care if any of this makes sense. They have their things that do make sense. It's just other parts where there's like, well, we can explain it, but it's probably better if we don't, because that's just the fun of it. Because again, it's all stuff that relates to like the Sonic games and stuff, so it's like, it makes sense that you wouldn't dive into it. Why would you want to dive into some of these moments? Why would you want to dive into some of these things? But yeah, so yeah, I guess that's pretty much everything I want to talk about. I mean, I didn't want to just go through like the overarching story and like all that. I mean, it's because there are definitely a lot of fun things. There's definitely it is a solid story. It's not anything that's like too shocking, surprising. It's a pretty straightforward story for what it has to do. So but I just love the writing, the characters, the set pieces, like there's all these crazy action sequences are really, really cool, and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, that's pretty much what I thought about this film. Again, though, I wouldn't consider it as one of my favorite films. I just think this was a whole lot of fun, and I definitely would see this again. I mean, I'm probably not gonna go to see it again in the theater, like, but if, like, let's say if it pops up on TV or it pops up on a streaming service, I might just see it because of how fun it was to me. Like, that's really what it is. It's just a fun film. Because that's exactly what I feel like Sonic is. Sonic just is, he's entertaining, he's likable, and he does have moments that kids can be like, hey, that's something we can use. I mean, heck, the old Sonic cartoon was basically just like, I mean, Sonic was also teaching kids lessons, because, you know, that's how they do it. So, and like I said, the poster, I mean, it's a pretty, I mean, again, like I said, I do think this is a pretty cool poster, so, alright, yeah, I think I rambled on for long enough, so, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you liked it, leave a like. If you want to leave a comment, and if you want to subscribe. You don't have to, I'm just saying. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you in the next video.